Welcome to the Essential Emotional Care webinar with essential oils, and this is with Lorrie Hargis. I'd like to introduce you to Lorrie, who is a registered aromatherapist, and she is an internationally recognized aromatherapist working all around the place for many, many years. She's been practicing in the field of natural health for over 32 years now, can't believe it, in the fields of aromatherapy, iridology, kinesiology, and Lorrie is also a certified flower essence practitioner. Lorrie spends half of her time living in the US and the other half of the time living in the south of France, where she spent over 11 and a half years researching, developing and manufacturing a skincare line of products, which were organic, green and fabulous, beautiful products, all based on aromatherapy, and these were fabricated in the south of France. While she was there, she developed over 120 different skincare products certified organic by EcoCert. Her mission is to teach, guide, and facilitate others to take responsibility for their own health and well-being using natural healing holistic modalities. Lorrie is also the founder of the Lorrie Hargis International School of Aromatherapy, where she teaches and certifies her students to be safe and effective aromatherapists. Emotional healing is offered as a track in the Level 3 Clinical Aromatherapy program from the school and workshops to all levels. I am very happy to introduce you to Lorrie, who will be your guide and mentor throughout this webinar today. And I will leave you over to Lorrie now to enjoy essential emotional care with essential oils. Lorrie, are you there?
I'm here, Ruth. Thank you so much. And how is it there in Ireland?
Actually, it's lovely. It's a bit grey, but it's dry, so I'm not complaining. And yeah, it's a nice spring day. You know, it's all good here at the moment. As long as it's not raining, we're all happy.
Great, great. Well, here it is beautiful and sunny in California. So thank you so much for being with us.
Like it is every day. You just say that to make me jealous.
I do. Well, thank you, Ruth, very much for that introduction. I'd like to introduce to you my team. These are the people who are behind the scenes, giving you the best possible natural health information for your business, your distributors, your own personal health and well-being. Ruth McGowan, as we've just heard, is in Ireland, and she's our sales and marketing manager. Also, she's our go-to-er, as she says. And Sue Griffith is our curriculum manager of the Lorrie Hargis International School of Aromatherapy. I want to thank them so much for all that they do and for all that they do for our students in the Lorrie Hargis International School of Aromatherapy. Today, you will learn what is an essential oil, how essential oils work on your mind system, the 4 F's of a pandemic, mindful breathing exercise, what are the emotions that are coming up during the coronavirus pandemic, how can essential oils help you emotionally through the coronavirus pandemic, and what are the top 15 oils for emotional care, how to use them in your daily life, and coronavirus crisis formulations, break free, break through, confinement anxiety, and on edge. At the end of this webinar, you will be able to ask any questions that you have. So make sure that you put those questions in the chat box to Ruth, so we're ready to answer any question that you have. Book your free 30-minute discovery aromatherapy session, and Ruth will put that in the chat box for you too. And then we have a special gift for you being on the webinar and attending till the end. So make sure that you're on until the end, because we have a very special gift for you. Plus you have a the chance to sign up for the Emotional Healing Workshop with essential oils and flower essences. And it's going to be live streamed on May 1st, 2nd, and 3rd. This is the total immersion class, and it's going to be coming right from my home here in California. So we can't wait to have you on there with us and get your special gift. What is an essential oil? The vital energies from the inside of roots, seeds, plants, resins, flowers, trees, and fruits. So let's think about what essential oil would come from a root. You have spikenard, you have vetiver, essential oils that come from seeds, cardamom, parsley, fennel, from plants, and this includes the plant and the flowering tops, lavender, thyme, geranium, flowers, neroli, jasmine, rose, woods, santalwood, cedarwood, trees, pine, the orange tree, petitgrain, right? It comes from the branches. And fruits, orange, lime, grapefruit, mandarin, and bergamot. Now, each essential oil has different chemical components. And let's look, for example, at a chemical component that is in a lot of essential oils, linalool. It's in lavender. It's in ylang ylang. It's in neroli. And what do all of those essential oils do? They help relax us, don't they? They help uplift us. These chemical components give each essential oil its individual properties, such as its antiviral properties, its anti-infectious properties, its soothing, its cooling, stimulating, and analgesic properties. Its relaxing properties, energizing properties. Essential oils work on so many levels because they are so powerful. This is more than drinking a cup of your herbal tea, your peppermint herbal tea. This is like concentrated. And that's why they work so well and work so quickly. These healing energies are used in the practice of aromatherapy. Physically, emotionally, mentally, and spiritually. And this is why at this time, aromatherapy is such an important healing modality because of all what we're going through with this coronavirus. The whole world is going through this. So you can share this information with everyone. And that's the reason why I did this, is because I wanted this information to go out to everyone. So make sure that you share what you learned today. How essential oils work on your mind system. So if you have your favorite essential oil right now, I'd like you to take a short sniff of it. Right out of the bottle, open it up, and take a short sniff of this. And you're going to go on this little journey with me through the mind system of the body as you smell it. So here, just as you're smelling a rose or any kind of flower, any kind of scent, when you smell it, those aromatic substances go into this little mucous membranes that you have in your nose. And those little mucous membranes, there's little villi in there. And that pulls in the aroma. And what that does is then that little aroma goes through your nasal cavity up to your olfactory bulb. And then that sends a message to your hypothalamus. And then it goes into your endocrine system. the pituitary gland, then onto your adrenal glands, and then onto your reproductive organs. So that is what is called the endocrine part of smelling something. Okay, that's the E of it. Now let's talk about the P of it. So as you smell, that means that is the letter P for psyche, which connects to your mind, doesn't it? Your mind system. So you've already had a reaction in your endocrine system by smelling it, because you can have, it could be an aphrodisiac effect on you, right? Or it could stimulate your adrenals, energize you. So let's go back to the P, the psyche, the mind, and how it affects us, because that's what we're really working on today, is that. So as you smell this, it also goes here to your limbic part of your brain. This is your emotional center. And in this emotional center here, you have your instincts there. And this is when we were living in jungles thousands of years ago, we then could smell a tiger. We knew we could smell a plant that was good for us. We were using our instincts on a regular basis. And that's where we got the fight or flight here. It's also where we store all of our positive and negative emotions. And our negative emotions can stay in our brain. They stay in our brain more to remind us that we don't have to do that again. That was a part of for a way for us to survive. Oh, I smell that tiger, so I know what a tiger smells like, and I don't want him to eat me up, right? Well, the challenge now is we're in a different society. And in our society, the negative things that come to us are in the media. And right now, we are being inundated with negative things from the media. And this is something that for our emotional care, we need to be careful with at this time. It's not watching it all day long, because what happened in the morning is still the same thing at night, isn't it? Usually in the news. So if you continue to play on that, you're going to put those negative emotions into your mind over and over and over again. And today we're going to show you how to bring in the positive to help you get rid of that negative. So that is the P. And then we have the N when we smell an essential oil. And when we smell those essential oil molecules, they go in, like I said, through that villi here, and then they go up into our brain here, and this is where they connect into our neurons. They connect into the neurons to the nervous system, and then it hits into our brain, goes down here into the medulla, goes down here into our spinal column, and affects all of our nerves. So that's called PNE, is what that's called. So it's the psyche, the nervous system, and the endocrine system together. And that shows you how essential oils work on us just by smelling them. The 4 F's of a pandemic. The 4 F's of a pandemic: fear, a distressing emotion aroused by impending danger, evil, pain, etc. Whether the threat is real or imagined, the feeling or condition of being afraid. Freeze. This is when you are in a state of being frozen when feeling fear. You're afraid, but you can't move. You can't get out of it. And a lot of people right now are in that state. They're frozen. They've got their heads under the covers. They're not getting out of the bed. They're not getting themselves into a regular routine. They're frozen. because of the fear that's coming up for them. Flight, which again, remember, is part of our instinctual self and part of that instinctual part of our brain. Flight is where swift movement, transition, or progression due to fear. It's like when that tiger could have chased us. So we're in flight. We're just everywhere and we don't know what to do. We're just all over the place. People are sending me messages daily saying, I can't get focused. I just can't get focused. I'm just so confused. I don't know what to believe, and I'm just so confused, and I'm just all over the place. And then we have the fight, to contend in any manner, strive vigorously for or against something when you are fearful. So we're going in all these different directions and we're fighting in these things because what to believe, what not to believe, all this stuff is going on. So then the anger comes up and says, you know, I don't want to be in here. I don't want to do this. And what happens is when you're fearful, it builds stress in your system, doesn't it, when you're fearful? And if you're any of these 4 F's at this time, it causes stress. And if you're playing over and over and over again, all the negative things that you're seeing on the news all day long, that etches in your brain, doesn't it? That etches in that beautiful brain of yours. And what happens when you etch something into your brain? What happens to your physical body when it's negative, when you're going over the same story over and over again? You know, whether it's, I want to get out of this house as soon as possible. I can't take these kids anymore. They're driving me crazy. What does that do to you? Well, what it does is it causes you to change the chemistry in your body. It makes your levels of cortisone just go up really high in your body too, doesn't it? The adrenals just can't take it because they're always in fight, flight, or they're sitting there frozen up. And then what happens is the pH in the body starts changing. And as the pH in the body starts changing, what happens then? Your body becomes more acid, doesn't it? And the more acid it gets, the more it sets your physical body up for dis-ease. Just like it says, dis-ease. I think we should all look at that a little bit more, right? Dis-ease. Those words. How acid, stress, and then how it changes your pH, and then you get more acid, and then you go into dis-ease. So this is why this is so important today, because you need to be able to have something to help you get through this and to have good emotional care, because we don't want you to have a disease after this. We don't want you to put yourself into a physical problem. So let's take care of our mental and emotional being now. First of all, let's do a mindful emotional awareness exercise. So you're going to ask, first of all, before you do it, before you close your eyes or do anything, you're going to ask yourself right now how you are feeling. Are you feeling fearful? Are you feeling frozen? Are you feeling like you're in flight? Are you feeling like you're in fight? And then put the other words there that you want and write them down. Take your pen and paper right now and write it down. And make a note of it. Is this the least intense? I'm afraid, but it's only a 1, or I'm afraid and it's an 8. Write that down. I'm going to give you a few seconds to do that. Take some time and do it. This is your time for you. This is emotional care for you. Okay, now get in a comfortable seating position. That means get those shoulders leveled up with those hip bones, not slumping forward, not slumping back. Get yourself sitting up straight, feet flat on the floor. Get your feet on the floor. And that means you are standing, your feet are on that floor flat. That's called grounding yourself. It's what you do is you put your feet flat on the floor, and that's called grounding. So do that. Now close your eyes, and what you're going to do is you're going to breathe in through your nose and out through your mouth, okay? So as you breathe in through your nose, you're going like you're breathing, like you're sniffing a rose, and then when you blow out, it's like you're blowing out on a dandelion. So in through your nose and out through your mouth. Here we go. And we're going to keep on breathing now. Keep breathing. You're going to breathe for 1 minute. Continue your breathing. In through your nose and out through your mouth. Get all that oxygen to your brain. Okay, that was 1 minute of mindful breathing. Now, slowly open your eyes and ask yourself how you're feeling now. Write it down and rate it again. Okay. So now Ruth is going to take some, if you'd like to share in the chat box, Ruth is going to share with us how you were feeling. Remember, tell her how you were feeling first. Write down the intensity of it with your numbers, rate it, and then tell her in the chat box how you're feeling now after you've just done 1 minute of mindful breathing. Ruth, are you getting some response?
No, I'm waiting to see if they're filtering through, so just give them a moment.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Okay, I just have the first one in, just saying that at the beginning they had a level 5 of stress, not really fear. And then after the breathing, they got down to a 3.
Mhm.
I have another person who's saying that at the beginning they had the feeling of fight and it was a 5. And then at the end of the exercise, it's down to a 1, which is really, really good. I also have someone saying that they had a level 8 of fear and of fight an 8 as well, but now they feel much calmer.
Great.
The intensity was 2, and after breathing, we have a 1. We've got a fear 4, and now down to a fear 2. Also, before breathing, the flight number was at 5. After breathing, grateful for life and for the family. I think we're all feeling a bit of that. Feeling a little stressed before at a 7, but now at a 4.
Great. Lovely. Well, we can see just what mindful breathing can do for you, how it can just relax your mind. That way you're able to focus and concentrate. And you can then also become more aware of your emotions and which emotion that is coming up for you, because emotions aren't bad things. Fear isn't a bad thing. Fear is telling you something. So just remember that don't think that fear is a bad thing. It's transforming the fear, putting it into a positive, so that way then you can go on with your life and not be stuck in it. So this is the reason why we call it a mindful emotional awareness exercise. So how can essential oils help you emotionally during the coronavirus? Essential oils can help you relieve anxiety by sniffing, inhalation, massage, bath, reflexology, sprays, and oil or water compresses. And you can see more of this information in my book, Common Sense, A Practical Guide to Aromatherapy. Essential oils can help you release and calm angry outbursts, which a lot of people are suffering from right now because they're not used to being at home with each other. You know, if your husband's gone 8 hours a day and you are too, and you're seeing him only 2 hours in the evening, and the kids also, you're just seeing them in the morning, and you make dinner, you take them to their sports, and then they go to bed, you're not spending all that much time with them. Now you really are. So this is something that essential oils can help you with, is with angry outburst. And you can do it by sniffing, inhalation, bath, massage, reflexology, sprays, oil and water compresses. Help reduce your stress and trauma. We are all experiencing a stress and a trauma. Let's not be in denial of that. It's how we embrace it that makes a difference. Sniffing, inhalation, massage, bath, reflexology, oil or water compresses. Essential oils can also help stimulate clearness of the mind and the ability to focus by sniffing, inhalation, massage, bath, reflexology, sprays, oil or water compresses. Here are the top 15 essential oils that I have chosen to speak to you guys about today to help you have more emotional comfort and care for yourself. The first one is cistus. Cistus is this beautiful flower. It grows in the south of Spain. It grows in the south of France. It is absolutely a beautiful plant. It's like a shrub. It grows in Domaine de Castillo, where I live, and it is great for shock trauma. It just opens up your head. It's wonderful to meditate with. It's centering, it's comforting, and it's balancing. So when you've had a shock or trauma, this is one of the best essential oils to use. Then there's Roman chamomile that grows so low on the ground, doesn't it? It's like a little ground cover, different than German chamomile. Because German chamomile grows higher and taller. And Roman chamomile is for anger. It's when you're angry. It's for worry and irritation. So it's perfect for right now when you're stuck in the house because it's calming and soothing. And a lot of people are worrying about each other. You know, what's going on? How's my mother doing? How's my son doing? And this is one that can really help calm you. And then we have clove for fear and when you're frozen. You just can't seem to manage to get anything done. You don't have any routine and you're just stuck. You're just looking at the news, you're just looking at Facebook, you're just looking at any social media all the time. The dishes are in the sink. You just can't get anything done. Clove can pop you out of that. It gives you courage. It's a mental revitalizer and it stimulates positivity. Cypress. Cypress also grows in France here. In my home, I'm saying I'm there in France. But cypress grows where I live in Domaine de Castellou too. And this is so good because it's for absent-mindedness. So this is when you are just totally avoiding things. You're just woohoo, out in la la land, right? And it's when you're nervous, because sometimes when we get all nervous, we can't focus in, can we? We are absent-minded. So cypress comforts us. It's consoling as you smell it. Eucalyptus globius. It's also when you're angry and you have lots of anger, because eucalyptus cools you down when you're overreacting to something. Anger is a good thing to have because it motivates you. It can get you out of depression. It's not a bad thing. It's just that when it's overtaking your life and you're screaming and yelling at your kids all the time, that is not a healthy way to use your anger. So Eucalyptus globius cools you down so you can be balanced and use that energy to do something positive with. It's also good when you are frozen and in fear because it pulls you up. It warms you up and gets you going. So it's balancing. Geranium for instability. When you feel you like, my goodness, I'm not stable. I don't know where my next paycheck's going to come from. I don't know how I'm going to manage all of this. And you start feeling insecure, right? And then that little child in you starts saying, wow, how are my needs going to be met? How am I going to get my needs met here? My basic survival needs. So what it does is it balances you and it consoles you. It can just pop you right out of stuff. So if you're feeling that way, a short sniff of geranium is really great for that. And then we have grapefruit with its refreshing aroma. It's wonderful for confusion and when you're indecisive, you can't get clear. You just can't get your mind clear. And that's what it does. It's very clearing. Our next essential oil is helichrysum. It's for shock and trauma. This is one of the best essential oils I've ever seen for shock and trauma. For me, it's like the rescue remedy besides lavender essential oil. But we're going to go more into that in our next slide. It's something that just takes the edge off of it, off of shock or trauma, and you become far more resilient. It's harmonizing. Juniper, which also grows, and I should say helichrysum grows in Domaine de Castellou too. And then we have juniper that grows in Domaine de Castellou. It grows wild there. And juniper is when you have depleted energy. And many of you could be suffering from that right now. because you're stuck somewhere that you don't really want to be. You don't want to be in your house, right? You've had enough of all this. You said, geez, get me out of this place. Get me out of this situation. So what it does is it clears energy. It clears you so that way you can pull your energy back into yourself. So it just clears out the negative energy. And then we have lavender, which also grows on domain to cast to you. And this is something that is so fantastic. The calming properties of lavender for panic, shock, trauma, and irritation. When you're so irritable about the things that are going on around you. And then we have neroli. Neroli is the beautiful flower from the bitter orange tree. And here we have a lovely Egyptian woman who was picking, the women are the only ones who are picking the neroli there. And they sing while they're doing it. And neroli is so magnificent. It's wonderful for fear, shock, and depression. It's calming and it's stabilizing. It really stabilizes that energy field. So you can clear out your energy field with juniper and you can stabilize it with neroli. Then there's the orange, the peel of the orange. It's for depression and sadness, despondency. When you think, geez, I only want to get up. Why bother, you know? It's uplifting and gives you courage. Then we have patchouli. Here is a picture my husband took in Madagascar at the farm he had. And patchouli is just a fantastic plant. It's when you're so indecisive and you're anxious about making a decision. Should I do that? Should I not do that? That's fear that stops you from deciding something. That's also fear. So patchouli helps you with decisiveness, and then once you make your decision, you can be peaceful about it, huh? When we worry about things, it's the fear behind it. And really, if there's a solution for it, we need to do it and not worry about it too much. Make a decision and go for it. Then we have vetiver. Here's another picture that my husband took in Madagascar, and they are cutting the vetiver here and pulling up the roots. And vetiver is when you are out of control. I don't like to use the word hysteria because in psychology, hysteria has been used for centuries now, and a lot of women were called hysterics, and I don't like using that word because of that. And women were put in positions of saying that they were hysterical, and they weren't. Just people wanted them out of the way. So I want to say that this is where you have a lot, you're so emotional you can't handle it. That's what I want to say here. And then it's on the other spectrum when you're so depressed and you're not saying anything. So that's what vetiver does. It brings you back to balance and it gets you really in your body, your feet flat on the ground. It's for when you're so highly minded, you're no earthly good. When you've got your head out in the clouds and you can't bring your ideas down into this place here and you're just floating, whoo-hoo, all over. That's what vetiver does. It gets you grounded. And the last of our 15 essential oils is ylang ylang. Ylang ylang is beautiful for fear. And here's another lovely picture my husband took in Madagascar of ylang ylang when they were harvesting it. Fear and nervousness, when you're really uptight, you just can't get the negative emotions to stop in your mind. Ylang ylang will really help you relax and sleep. So think about that one if you're having nights where you're not sleeping well. And then I wanted to discuss with you these 5 essential oils as an essential oil rescue remedy. We know we have rescue remedy in the Bach flower remedies, and we've been doing webinars in our Common Sense community about Bach flower remedies and how he discovered them and how they have helped so many people. And so I'd like to share with you my essential oil rescue remedy formulation. Cistus, shock trauma, because it's centering, comforting, and balancing. Helichrysum, shock trauma, harmonizing and builds resistance. It builds resilience, so that way you can bounce off things, like making a big bubble around you, right? Making that big bubble around you and bouncing off things, bouncing off things. Something comes your way, you can handle it. You can embrace it. You can find the positive and go on. Lavender for panic, shock, trauma, irritation. It's calming. It's what it did to my son. That's how I got into essential oils. He was stuttering from the age of 4 to the age of 8. And when we started giving him lavender baths, it stopped. It is his thing he does. Every day he takes a lavender bath, because it stabilizes and calms his nervous system. Neroli for shock and fear, depression, calming and stabilizing too. And vetiver for when you're overly emotional and you can't handle the things, or you're so severely depressed. It's grounding and balancing. So in a 10 ml bottle, you're going to place 2.25 milliliters, and you can do that with a dropper. You get droppers that have, you know, from 0.25 to 0.5 to 1 to 1.5 to 2 to 2.5. You can get droppers like that have them already marked, and you just suck it up in your dropper, and you put 2.25 ml of helichrysum, of lavender, cistus, and neroli, and 1 ml of vetiver, because vetiver is so powerful, it can take over anything. It's very strong. That's the reason I'm not using 2 of each one. You can sniff it directly out from the bottle, and you can just take a short sniff of it. You can keep it in a 10 ml bottle like this here, and then just sniff it directly. Keep it in your purse. Make sure you don't get it in the heat, but keep it in your purse, or keep it somewhere where you know you're going to grab it and just sniff it. Anytime that you're feeling stressed, like you're in shock, or you've been traumatized, this really works well. Or you can dilute it as it is suggested in our slide 16. Here are the different ways that you can use essential oils for your emotional care: fear, panic, shock or trauma, terror, accidents, when you're withdrawing, injury, emotional upset, anxiety, worry. They also promote calmness when you're feeling overwhelmed, irritation, indecision, stress, sleep, selfless. It's when you're doing everything for everybody else, but you're not doing good self-care. The first thing you've got to do is take care of you, so you can take care of the rest of the people in your family. If you don't take care of yourself, you're going to start getting what? Irritated. You're not going to respond well to others. And you're going to have to tell them, use your boundaries. Listen, I have to take some time for myself. I know you're hungry, but there's 3 other adults in this house. Someone else can cook today. Or make a schedule where everyone can, take turns cooking. Give your older children, 12 years old, they should know how to cook. Let them start cooking. Give them some cooking lessons. Have some fun with it. But take care of yourself first. Self-pity. The woe is me, I'm alone, which it is very difficult to be alone at this time. It's very difficult not to want to hug your friends or your family. It too shall pass. So essential oils can help you with when you're feeling sorry for yourself. Neediness, when you're feeling needy. Nervousness, distrust of yourself. Remember, trust your inner self. Trust your judgment. Discouragement, when you're discouraged, oh my God, is this ever going to end? Despondency, when you are not responding, which respond is what? Responsible. It's not reacting, it's responding. That is the opposite. So essential oils can help you respond in a healthy and positive way. And remember, inhale courage and exhale fear. That's why our mindful awareness exercise is so important. How to use essential oils for emotional care. 10 drops in 2 tablespoons of sea salt in the bath to relax and let go of fear and anxiety. 46 drops in a 2-ounce, 60 milliliter bottle as an air spray to help release and calm angry outbursts. 23 drops in a 1-ounce, 30 ml roll-on and apply to your hands and give yourself a hand massage to relieve stress and tension. And this is something that you can do at home. You just take your roller ball, roll it on your hands, and give yourself a little hand massage. This is part of self-care with essential oils. And sniffing directly out of a bottle to clear the mind and focus. And also you can use the Rescue Remedy formulation that I just gave you to sniff directly out of the bottle to help you with any stress, trauma, friction. Here is our first formulation. Break free from fear. 12 drops of orange. Orange does, it breaks through things, right? It gets you up and going. 10 drops of lavender, soothing and calming. 8 drops of helichrysum, because helichrysum, what does it do? It makes you resilient, doesn't it? It gets rid of that shock and trauma. 5 drops of cistus, it's comforting and pulls you out of the shock and trauma. And 1 drop of vetiver to get you grounded and balanced. In 1/4 ounce, which is 7 ml of alcohol, and 1/2 ounce, 21 ml of water. You place your essential oils, alcohol, and water into your amber bottle, put your sprayer on it, shake it well, and then you spray in all 4 corners of the room as needed to help you break through the fear and identify it. This is really important that you identify, what am I afraid of? Where is this fear coming from? What am I afraid of? That's what this blend is for. That's what it's to spray around you. You can just sit down, take 3 deep breaths, breathe for 1 minute, spray this around you, and identify what is that fear. Contraindications: do not use in pregnancy, nursing, or children under 2 years of age. Use hydrosols. So you could use orange blossom hydrosol, lavender hydrosol, helichrysum hydrosol, and cistus hydrosol. And you could spray that around you. You could make a blend of it where you have the same amount, or you take it and make the percentage like this formulation here. Do not use this spray around fish, birds, puppies, or cats. For children 6 to 8 years of age, 1 drop of orange, 1 drop of lavender, 1 drop of helichrysum, and 1 drop of cistus, and 1 drop of vetiver. And you would put that in the same amount here in your amber bottle there, 1 ounce amber bottle with your sprayer and your alcohol. For children 3 to 5 years of age, 1 drop of lavender and 1 drop of helichrysum, and you could spray that in their room. Frozen. break through fear. And here we have 3 drops of grapefruit, which helps us be clear within our minds, doesn't it? 2 drops of juniper, clears the energy field, clears the energy, helps you when you're feeling depleted. 2 drops of geranium, consoling and balancing. 2 drops of cypress, comforting and consoling. 1 drop of vetiver, grounding and balancing. In 2 tablespoons of sea salt. You're gonna put your essential oils and your sea salt in your small glass bowl, right? And you're gonna mix them well together. Then you're gonna pour them into the tub, and you're going to get your water going though in the tub before, and then you're gonna add your bath salts, and in a clockwise motion, you're gonna mix those essential oils in the salt, into the bath water until it's dissolved. And then you're gonna soak there for 15 minutes. Contraindications: do not use in pregnancy, nursing, and children under 8 years of age. For children 6 to 8 years of age, 2 drops of grapefruit, 1 drop of juniper, 1 drop of geranium in the 2 tablespoons of sea salt. For children 3 to 5 years of age, 1 drop of grapefruit and 1 drop of geranium in 2 tablespoons of sea salt. This is flight. This is where we want to just, man, break out. Can I just break out of this place? And this is called confinement anxiety. What you will do is you will take a 5 ml amber bottle with a stopper and a lid on it, and you're going to put 4 milliliters of orange in the bottle. 0.5 ml, that means it's only a half a ml, and again, you're going to use your dropper for that. Put a half a ml of neroli and a half a ml of lavender in the formulation. Orange is going to help you disperse your anger and get rid of that. Neroli is going to stabilize you as lavender is, so you don't feel like you want to run out of the house and scream, or if you're stuck in an apartment. You're going to place the essential oils in the amber bottle. You're going to put the top on it. You're going to roll it between your hands to mix the ingredients thoroughly. And then you're going to sniff it directly out of the bottle when feeling like you want to run away from everything as often as needed. This is something, and you can have the kids sniff it. Anybody in your family can sniff this. Contraindications: do not use in pregnancy and nursing. What you can do is you can just sniff orange blossom hydrosol, lavender hydrosol, and cistus hydrosols. You can use those, just mix them up the same quantity, 33% of each one, and put it in a bottle and sniff it. Just remember that if there's no conservator in your hydrosols, that they can get bacteria in them. So make sure you keep them in a blue bottle or a amber bottle. And you also could spray it around you too if you're pregnant or you have very small children under 2 years of age. And our last formulation, fight. This is when you are irritable, you're angry, and you just want to fight with somebody. You're finding yourself wanting to pick a fight, and that means you're on edge. The essential oils here are orange. Disperse that, right? Get rid of that. Let's utilize that anger for a positive thing. Take that energy and do something positive with your family, friends, whoever you are with. 6 drops of Roman chamomile because it's calming and soothing. 5 drops of ylang ylang because it is calming and soothing too. 2 drops of eucalyptus globius or ratiat because eucalyptus, what we say again, eucalyptus helps cool us down, doesn't it? It brings us back into balance. And then we have patchouli, which helps with the anxiety too. And clove, which uplifts us and helps us with feeling more positive. You put this in 1 ounce of almond or apricot oil, and then you're going to put it in your rollerball bottle. You're going to roll it between your hands, thoroughly, and then you're going to apply it to your temples, the back of your neck, your solar plexus, and your corresponding reflex points on your hands and feet. If you're having a lot of neck problems, is anybody having a lot of neck problems right now? Raise your hand and let Ruth know. Ruth, who has some neck problems? I don't need to know, just ask them where, if it's on the right side or the left side more in the chat box, and you can just let me know.
Yeah, we've actually got quite a few people with their raised hands, so I'll just wait a moment for them to let me know if it's left or right.
Okay.
So far, it's all on the right.
Okay. Now, in traditional Chinese medicine, the right side of the neck, the shoulder, all that is corresponding to your liver. And the emotions that are correspond to that in Chinese medicine is bitterness, anger. So look at that. See how you're feeling right now and see if that's relating. If it's the other side of the neck, it's the left side of the neck, that is corresponding to the spleen. And that is to deal with worrying, not enough joy in your life, things like that. So this is where you need to look at that and see what's going on. If it's on the right, it's the liver. And this kind of formulation could be really good for you at this time. So look at that. Then get in there and work your neck on your big toes. Take this formulation, roll it on your big toe, work your neck in the big toe, the reflex point there. You can find those reflex points in my book, Common Sense: A Practical Guide to Aromatherapy. And then also massage it on the liver area and all through your mid-back. Anybody else have, Ruth, anything on the left side or?
No, in fact, everyone's was on the right-hand side.
Okay, interesting.
Oh,
Well,
sorry, beg your pardon. I do have one person who said that it depends on the day, usually on the left.
Usually on the left. So look at the spleen with that situation and look at also your diet. This all also has to do with your diet too. So you guys make sure that you're eating plenty of green vegetables, that you're not overindulging in too much ice cream, sugar, alcohol, because right now the things that are selling here in California, people are taking out alcohol. And that damages your blood sugar. That has something to do with your spleen. It also has something to do with your liver. So please make sure that if you're not eating well, that you wean yourself off all the other stuff and start eating well. Get yourself in a routine of eating properly. And this will help also with the stress on the right side and the left. Okay, so now let's look here at the contraindications. Do not use in pregnancy and children under 10 years of age. That's because of the eucalyptus in the formulation and the clove. Or if you have hepatitis, that's because of the clove. For children 6 to 8 years old, it's 1 drop of orange, 1 drop of lavender, 1 drop ylang ylang, and 1 drop of patchouli. All right, for children that are 3 to 5, 1 drop of orange and 1 drop of lavender. And that you would put that in your 1 ounce bottle of carrier oil. So let's let go of your fears. When you let go, you create space for something new, don't you? And you can start feeling so much better. Join me for our 3-day total immersion emotional healing with essential oils and flower essences, live from California, May 1st, 2nd, and 3rd. That's this coming May, from 11 a.m. to 6:30 p.m. Eastern Time. You will learn more breath work like you've learned today to release fears, anger, and anxiety. You're going to free yourself from physical and mental limitations. We've had people get rid of their physical pain by being in this workshop. You're going to find out how essential oils and flower essences affect the mind, the body, and the spirit. And you're going to improve your daily life by integrating flower essences and essential oils into your daily routine. So you're going to know what to grab. You're going to say, today it's a bergamot day for me. And I am going to use pink monkey flower with it, a flower essence. Mindful techniques for rebuilding relationships. We've had people in our courses that have come to the class, gotten rid of stuff that they thought they had gotten rid of, divorce, a lot of stuff, and were able then to go out and find someone new and have a good relationship and continue to use the essential oils, the flower essences, and all these mindful techniques that you're going to learn with their new partner. So it does really build relationships and rebuild relationships, because people have then reached out to others that they hadn't ever reached out in their life before. Build your physical strength and vitality. You say, how can that be with essential oils and flower essences? Well, we do exercises in our workshops to help your physical body get rid of the emotional stuff that you've been holding on to. How to make more essential oil and flower essence formulations for life-changing transformation. So you are going to be making over 9 formulations in this 3-day workshop. In the first day, you're making 4. So it's very important that you get signed up so you can get your list of stuff that you need to have. And you're going to be doing your storytelling. You're really going to transform your old stories. Those old stories are going to be no longer, you don't need to deal with them. You're going to go on. People have built their businesses better because of our workshop. They've gotten through a lot of grief that they would have had a harder time getting through if they hadn't had this workshop. So today, our special gift, and Ruth's going to put in the chat box, is when you invest in your emotional care by joining us for the live streaming on May 1st, 2nd, and 3rd, you are going to receive our special gift. You're going to get 1 month subscription in the Common Sense community, which will give you access to 3 live workshops, which includes Understanding Disease, Bach Flower to the Rescue, Part 1, and the 12 Healers, Bach Flower Remedies, Part 2. Plus, you'll receive the upcoming May 5th live workshop on Bach flowers for women going through these challenges, these challenging times during the coronavirus, right? And we're going to help you with all of that. The value of this is $124.95. So when you get signed up for the 212, you're going to receive a gift of $124.95. And once you become an emotional healing student, then after that, you have even better discounts, and you have great discounts in the Common Sense community too. So make sure that you click that link today, get signed up, because Friday is the day that the deadline for the live streaming is. That's April 24th is the deadline. So make sure that you click that link. Click that link to get your special gift, and we will be putting you into the Common Sense community beginning May 1st. Also, Ruth is going to put in the chat box, get my book as a special offer for you today for being in the webinar, regularly $18.95. Today for webinar attendees, $15. And now we're going to have our questions and answers. And Ruth, what are our questions today?
Okay, today we have a few little questions noted down throughout the presentation. So the first one is, can you just explain to people how to schedule the 30-minute discovery session?
Okay, so what you do is you click that Set More link, And then what you do is you go into the schedule there, and I'm available Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays. And I believe it's from 3 o'clock to 5 o'clock in the afternoon. That is Pacific time. That is my time right now. And normally I will be here till June, probably June 1st, unless something else changes quickly. So please make sure that you sign up, and then I will get a message. I will send you a link to come into Go-To training, and we will have our call on Go-To training. So please look at that and understand that it is on the Pacific time is when the appointments are. Okay, thank you for that question. It's a good one.
Okay, the next question in then was when you were discussing the 15 oils. So the question was, can we blend all these oils together? And then at the same time, someone else asked, is this covered in your book? Because they couldn't find it.
Okay, so the first part of the first question is, I personally would not put all those together, all 15 of those together. I wouldn't do more than 7 of them together. I would really look at that, because if you want to just look at the ones that hit you the most, you know, and the ones that you associate better with when you smell them. It's really a sense of what it's not throwing them all in a pot and saying, oh, geez, that's going to work for me. It's more of you smelling each one, then identify, first of all, identify, do your breathing, identify what it is you're going through. Then look at the essential oils and the list, and you can go in my book, and there's more information in the mind system that explains to you more in depth about each one of those essential oils. Look at that and see how those essential oils resonate with you. Then grab them and smell them. And as you smell them, write down which one. Oh, I like neroli is number 1 I like. Then lavender is number 2, and orange is number 3, for example. And then put those in your formulation and decide how you're going to use them. Okay? Then the second part to the question, Ruth, what was it?
It was when you were covering the 15 oils, they said, oh, I can't seem to find any relation to that in the book.
The relationship into my book is
so like a reference, sorry, relationship is probably a wrong word. Reference would be better to it.
Okay, so what you would do is you would go into all the single essential oils in there, and you would look at that in the mind system, because each oil in my book has a mind system in it, except for lemongrass, I think. So that's what you would do. That's where your reference is there. Okay, next question.
Okay, the next question is, when you talk about using alcohol in the formulation, what kind is recommended? And is there any special type of water that you would recommend as well?
Well, I would always use, reverse osmosis, purified water. And then for alcohol, you could use a vodka, because it kills bacteria. And if you have any kind of problems with like wheat from grain alcohol, you wouldn't have that challenge. I use 96 proof grain alcohol in mine. Organic is what I use. Just make sure that it's 60 proof or over, so that way it kills any bacteria.
And if you don't want to use alcohol?
If you don't want to use alcohol, don't use alcohol. You can use water until it goes bad, huh?
Yeah, we had this conversation today in the Common Sense community about adding witch hazel, and you can use witch hazel that comes in a non-alcoholic form as well.
And you can also use colloidal silver. There's many other mediums that you could use.
There is, yeah.
You just have to always consider that anytime you have water in a formulation, you're going to get bacteria in it sooner or later. It's just what happens, especially if it gets in the heat and you don't keep it in a cool place. So always be smelling your sprays. Plus your essential oils are going to start oxidizing anyway. And you'll smell it. You'll smell it when the orange starts smelling like an old orange. It just starts like an orange that's going rotten. Any other questions?
Yeah, I mean, I have a couple more that were still to do with the alcohol for that fair formulation, about whether it was, what kind of alcohol you've used. So you've just covered that. And then another one was about it being, obviously it's not rubbing alcohol, but it's grain alcohol. But as you quite rightly point out, if you want to use an alcohol, you can use vodka in the place of a grain one. The next question then is, have you got any recommendations for replacements of vetiver or cistus?
Well, you could possibly use sandalwood if you don't like vetiver, because vetiver is very powerful. You could use sandalwood in replace of that. And cistus is a different smell, but cistus, what would I replace cistus with to have that same response? Ooh, that one for me is, you possibly could think about frankincense because it opens up the head like cistus does. So that's what I would do. I would replace the cistus with frankincense. I would replace the vetiver with sandalwood.
Okay. The next question then is, when you're using formulations with hydrosols, can you add something like alcohol to help preserve it?
Yes, you can. I would use at least one. I would use one. I would use at least 1% of the formulation, minimal.
Where do you recommend getting hydrosols from?
Hydrosols, you probably could get those from, look at Mountain Rose. They have organic hydrosols. I don't know if Nature's Gift does. You could look there and see if they have organic hydrosols. She carries organic essential oils. You could contact Diane Mayorisi. She has some organic essential oils from France.
I'm just going to look up Diane's email address and I can pop that in the box for everybody there. I've also just put in Mountain Rose Herbs, their link, so people can have a good look, because they've got quite a good selection, I have to say. Then the next question for you is, can you make the Fight formulation into a spray?
Yes, of course you could. What you would do is you would just do the same ratio. Let me go back to that formulation. Let's look at it really quick here. This is the Fight one they're talking about?
The On Edge one, yeah.
Yeah, okay. So what you would do is, this one, let me see, we've got 14. Yes, 19. Yeah, that would be perfect. You could do, instead of putting it in the almond oil, you would just put the water in there. If you wanted, you'd just put water, 1 ounce of water in there. And yeah, you could do that for sure. And you'd have a 3% formulation.
Okay, the next one then that I have is, when you were talking about the neck issues, why specifically the middle back?
Well, because the mid-back, the nerves in the mid-back are corresponding to the liver. Anytime when we were doing Chinese massage when I was in China, and we were doing a special kind of massage with a piece of jade, and we went across the back. Before you even took the jade up the spine, around the spinal column, you always looked at the back. You looked at the whole back. You looked at below where the bra is, there in the mid-spine, and you looked to see if there was any kind of marks, any redness, any moles, anything in that area. Because what it did is, if it told you if it was on the right side, it told you something was going on with the liver. If it told you something was going on the left side, it told you something was going on with the spleen, the pancreas. There was all those indications. Your skin tells you a lot. So if you look at that and then you go above that, you go to the mid-back, then that's going to be where the lungs and the heart are, and also going up to the shoulders. anytime you've got people breaking out in the shoulder areas there, that's usually lung stuff going on. The lungs can't get the stuff out. And if you look at smokers, if you look at the skin on a smoker, their pores will start getting very big back there on their back because the skin's trying to let out the smoke that they're inhaling. And I saw this when I came home and we were doing the Chinese massages, and I was practicing on my employees, and I had one employee who was a smoker, and her pores on her upper back were bigger than they were on her lower back because of smoking. So this is why all the nerves are going to those organs or those glands in those areas of the body from the spine. It's all connected.
Okay, then getting towards the end of the questions is just when you're talking about when you're using one of the formulations in a bath, is it how long do you recommend to stay in the bath, and is it okay to stay in longer than the recommendation?
Oh, sure. If you want to stay in longer, you can. That's just a recommendation to take a 15-minute bath. It's something that you can really benefit from, especially if you're taking a hot one, not too hot, you don't want to burn yourself, but you know, where you sweat, and that helps purify your system and get things out of your body too. And also just taking time to take a bath is, I know it really helps. If you can't and you don't do baths, you can always make a foot bath.
Okay, then I've got, I normally get most of my oils from NSP. Where do you recommend I get oils if NSP doesn't carry them?
The same place that we suggested before. You can get them at Mountain Rose, you get Nature's Gift, Purify Skin Care, I think it's called too. I know all these people and they have organic essential oils. And then from Diane Mayorisi also from Energy Unlimited.
Okay, and I think that's pretty much it because there were a few more questions, but you've already answered them with previous questions.
Okay, great. Well, thank you, Ruth, and thank you everyone for those great questions. I really appreciate it. And I want you guys to stay in touch with us. Join our Common Sense community. Make sure you get signed up for that live streaming. It's an important thing for your emotional care. Also, you can follow me on Facebook, my YouTube channel, Learn with Lorrie about essential oils. Also, our NSP Essential Oils Rock group and our Essential Oils for Emotional Healing group, which you can join that group because that group we're doing a nightly 3-minute breathing exercise. So please make sure that you go to our website, www.lorriehargis.com. And don't forget your essentials, use your common sense. Au revoir.